Right guys, today I wanted to make a new video of a new series basically as it's the transfer window now. Um, so I wanted to look at a potential ongoing rumour. In this case today it will be Kalvin Phillips from Leeds to Manchester City, and basically just delve into it a little bit. So the reports are saying, so this is the Football Insider, Leeds United and England midfielder Kalvin Phillips has told the club he wants to leave this summer to join Manchester City, whereas The Athletic are reporting City believe an offer of about 45 to 50 million pounds would persuade Leeds to sell, and it is thought Phillips will push for a move once a bid is tabled. So one's obviously slightly different to the other. Now, if City could get him for 45 million, that's not too bad, I don't think, considering he is 26 years old, so he's just about hit his prime years. He's definitely not a kid by any means. Like he's had some experience now, 2 years of Premier League football, a number of years in the Championship. He's had time in the England squad now. I think he's on over 20 appearances now. So yeah, he's got a bit of experience to him, but yeah, there are also things we need to talk about if this transfer does happen. So who would replace him at Leeds? That is something that Leeds need to sort out, because they cannot risk another season without a holding midfielder in that position, because that is one of the most important parts to the way they play, or at least the way they were playing last season for the majority under Marcelo Bielsa. Obviously now with Jesse March, they are playing a slightly different system, but it is still going to be needing a holding midfielder regardless. Like they can't go another season with just Pascal Struijk filling in, or whoever, or Robin Koch. They need someone. Now, obviously, as you can tell, I've got a cold. Obviously, all the talk is, if he does join, is that he's going to be Fernandinho's replacement. So I don't think he is a Fernandinho replacement. I think he offers something slightly different to Fernandinho. Fernandinho, we saw a gradual change in the way he performed at Man City. Like in his latter years, he was obviously like a midfield anchor, someone who was like superb at breaking up opposition play, and basically allowed players like Kevin De Bruyne to have a bit more license to go forward, and like maybe focus less on defensive, because he was that good at covering things. Whereas Phillips, I don't think he's quite at the level of Fernandinho. He may well prove to be in a better side. We don't know. He's yet to really play in an elite side at club level. For Phillips, it's obviously going to be a good move for his career. I mean, obviously there is like a fairy tale story, if you like, of him staying at Leeds for his entire career. But trophies are going to be unrealistic if that is to happen. And there is also the fact that if he does move to Leeds, that is pretty much his place. If he like performs at a decent level, if he moves to Man City, sorry, I said Leeds, didn't I? If he moves to Man City, that is pretty much his place in the England squad secured, isn't it, really, if he plays 20 games a season to a good level. We've seen that with Jack Grealish. But yeah, there is also the thing about his game time is going to be limited, because Man City already have arguably the best holding midfielder in the league in Rodri. For me, someone who should have like come a lot closer to winning Premier League Player of the Season last year. He was a massive reason that Man City went on to win the Premier League. However, also there is the fact that 5 subs are in play next season in the Premier League, so you know that even players who are on the bench, they're a lot more likely to get game time now. So there is also that to take into account. Now, in terms of will he fit, like the playing style, it's difficult to say because it Leeds, especially under Bielsa in the first. So if we go on the 2020-21 season, so not last season, the one before it, Leeds' first year in the Premier League, we saw him play in a 4-1-4-1 formation. So he was playing with two other central midfielders, but those two other central midfielders, I think most of the time, were Mateus Klick and Rodrigo. Rodrigo's not even a centre mid, is he? He's more of a forward, if anything. So and Klick is like, a standard number 8. And Phillips was definitely playing the role of number 6. He was like not sort of like an anchor, but a deep line playmaker who was also good at breaking up play. So he was like an all-round, all-action midfielder. He was the one who stayed back when Leeds went forward in attack, and therefore didn't get many goals because that wasn't his job. And I would have thought that would be sort of a similar position he would play in this Man City team. However, there may be times where Guardiola decides to play both Rodri and Phillips. We've seen it a few times at Man City where he has played Rodri and Fernandinho in the same team. And there's also been times this season at Man City where Pep's played Rodri and Bernardo Silva, so it'd be interesting to see, does he go with like Phillips or Bernardo Silva together and give Rodri a rest? So yeah, it's very interesting. In terms of actual style of play, I'm not sure it's a perfect fit, because what Phillips was brilliant at Leeds was winning the ball back and sort of spraying these passes out wide to Jack Harrison and Rafinha, which I'm not sure is the way that Guardiola will sets his side up to play. In fact, I'm sure that's probably not the ideal situation, whereas Rodri is very good at just like punching passes into Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, for them to then set something up. Like Rodri is much more of a keep things ticking in central midfield. He basically did the job that Sergio Busquets did at Barcelona under Guardiola, except from Rodri, you could argue, has a bit more to him. Like he has a brilliant shot on him, Rodri, which Phillips can strike a ball. I've definitely seen evidence of that for England and Leeds. Yeah, but it's definitely not going to be a bad signing. Phillips is a good player, so it's just a question over whether he's ready to accept not playing every game, because that's an unlikely scenario unless Rodri gets injured or something. So I will give this transfer out of 10. It's between a 6 and a 7, I think. I don't think I'd go as far as an 8, but I think 5 is too harsh. So I'll be harsh. I'll go 6, because in terms of does it suit all parties, definitely not. Leeds are losing a player who, when he was injured last season, proved that he is a very important player, because they were nowhere near as good without him. And Phillips is a good move for him, and Man City, yeah, it's a good move for them, but I'm not sure it's the perfect player, is what I'm basically saying. But then again, you need players who are different to like mix things up a bit, especially at a team that are playing at as high a level as Manchester City are. So I'll go 7 out of 10. Yeah, that feels about right. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.